Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and you might have looked at the title, oh, the spiciest Pokemon take you'll ever hear, and I'm going to say right now, Pokemon Legends Arceus is not perfect. It ain't no 10 out of 10. Now, before y'all dislike the video, okay, you're gonna need to have the return YouTube dislike Chrome extension to see that, okay? Now, again, once you get it, you'll be able to see how many jimmies I've rustled right here. Now, of course, that's a spice to take, but let me tell you right now, okay, it's not a finished take. I actually think the game is quite decent, but the reason I had to start it off like that is I kind of hate the trend of video game reviewing nowadays. Like, every time you go onto the internet, like, there's two kinds of reviews for any video game. In this case, it's like, Pokemon Legends Arceus basically killed my entire family. In fact, it brought grandma back to life, beheaded her in front of me, and destroyed my entire village. Like, you get a 0 out of 10 like that. And then you'll get the other end. It's like, wow, Pokemon Legends Arceus is the greatest game that was ever... I don't think I've played a game as good as this ever, which is a blatant lie, okay? Silent Hill 2 clearly exists, and if you think this game is better than that, you're sitting on a throne of lies there, Chief. Let's get started with the actual straight up things. I've seen the Verlicify videos, I've seen the community. Worst Pokemon game. Should you buy? Live review. That's a 3.5 hour review, and 3.9. You do the math, okay? The best Pokemon game? Question. Let's chill out there for a second. Now, to start off with, let's get to the good meat and potatoes. 9 months ago, when I saw this game for the first time, like on the interwebs, you know, I was like, damn, this game better be spicy good. But back then it had some frame rate issues. Obviously, it was an older build, and, you know, it was a new direction in the Pokemon world, okay? You know, we went from having dog shit easy RPGs to even dog shit easier RPGs, and then all of a sudden they were like, wait, you guys want a Pokemon game with a world to explore and, like, actual effort put into it? And then this is how Legends Arceus was born. Now, I think the best way I can describe it is, while it's not a perfect Pokemon game, it's, like, definitely a slap in the right direction, okay? It's like, hey, we could have had Game Freak absolutely destroying games like Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which might have been the two most laughable remakes I've ever seen. So the fact that they went this way, this is the direction I want the rest of the Pokemon games to go. Now, there are a couple criticisms. For instance, I've seen people talk about the graphics. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, ooh, you know, Muda, it looks real good. Guys, let's be honest, this shit looks like a PS2 game. And I'm saying PS2 game because Final Fantasy X clearly exists. Okay, you can load that game up for like 5 minutes and automatically be blown away by the amount of technical effort over this garbage. This game has scenes and like environments from like 1995, okay? I swear to God, if I looked at this and squinted my eyes, I couldn't actually isolate this from Body Harvest on the N64. I'm gonna be real, Chief, this game needs a graphical overhaul, okay? But that said though, graphics obviously aren't everything. It has Pokemon in the wild. In fact, this entire game is basically just a giant wild area. You can toss Pokeballs out, you know, bring your Pokemans into the wild worlds. You can throw Pokeballs at wild Pokemon and capture them in real time. In fact, you can even battle Pokemon in real time. And the reason I say that the direction is great is the next mainline entries in the Pokemon franchise better basically all be like this. Look, this is the same system that has Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, both outstandingly amazing looking games. If you're going to create mega cities and have us explore a giant region, it better be on that same tier of effort, which is actually why I firmly believe Game Freak should not be allowed to touch Pokemon going forward. Look, Game Freak does not care about making video games, okay? Game Freak, even when they're not making Pokemon, make absolute dog shit titles no matter what. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it as an objective goddamn reality. This is the game company that made opening the last project, changing a few things around, and rebuilding the project and shipping it out on card an actual meme. Honestly, if anybody's going to touch this franchise, it better be the people behind Xenoblade. It better be the people behind Legend of Zelda. It better be the people behind Mario. It better be an actual goddamn development team or whatever Game Freak is sending out, okay? Which is basically the two interns at this point working in the company. So that said though, the step in the right direction is very important. This is how Pokemon needs to be. This is a direction it needs to go into. Now, that being said, while it's not a perfect game, I've been absolutely enjoying the gameplay loops that it offers. Now, to start off with, we actually have a real story this time. I've seen a few complaints about the cutscenes in the game and how there's a whole bunch of them. Guys, I don't know if you played a game known as Death Stranding, but that game has a longer ending than the movie Heat, okay? Let's be real about it. You haven't experienced cutscenes until you've loaded up Metal Gear Solid 4, Senior Citizens of the Patriots, okay? You haven't seen that yet. You haven't even enjoyed that all the way through. So let me explain this. There's a storyline to the entire game. You basically go through a time-space warp into, like, this new region, the Hisui region, which is basically like pre-Sinnoh. And the entire idea over here is that as you go into this time in the past, you're uncovering new Pokemon. You're discovering these Pokemons. You're discovering this like origin point of Poke history. And so I guess the best way to put it is, this isn't like your traditional Pokemon experience. I guess the best way to really isolate and put this up as is it's kind of like Monster Hunter cross Pokemon. If you ever played Monster Hunter World or Monster Hunter Rise, you've probably noticed a general idea. You have a hub world. In this case, it's Jubilife Village. In the hub world, you basically outfit your character. So in this game, you're getting Pokeballs, you're crafting things, you're basically getting your party ready so you can go into expeditions and explore these massive wild areas the game has to offer. There's a few of these, and they each all have their own different Pokemon in them. There's a day-night cycle for you to go through and various challenges for you to hit in these areas. So when you're in the wild areas, you run around, you basically sneak in tall grass, you throw Pokeballs at these various Pokemons, and you capture them. Some of them are very docile, like Bidoofs. You can just toss a ball right at them. They're pretty much owned by you. Some of them, like Starlies, are a little skittish, so they run away as soon as they catch wind of you. And some of them can be aggressive, meaning that once they see you, you better toss an actual Pokemon right at them and basically start an actual battle, which is really cool, because if you want to be honest here, I think what Pokemon really needed was an actual real-time component, some sense of scale. I always hated it how we went from Pokemon back in the days of Game Boy Color to Pokemon all the way on the Switch mainline, and I've never actually seen a tangible difference in the game world. Look, it's archaic when you have to go from a game battle screen to the overworld. It's actually really sick when you can toss your Pokemon out in the massive open world and then actually battle them in real time. You can actually run around the Pokemons, the entire battlefield, and just sort of see these Pokemon actually make contact and fight for once. Look, I am sick and tired of playing Pokemon back in the day where they didn't even make contact. You're telling me an aerial ace wasn't goddamn stabbing a Pokemon all the way through? Get out of here! That's not how it worked. But that's generally one of the paths that you can take in the world of Pokemon. That's generally how this game plays out, which I think is super duper awesome. Now, when I say Monster Hunter, I'm talking about like mostly the fact that they've introduced like noble Pokemon, which are sort of these like little hunts. Basically, you find them out in the wild, they're like corrupted, so you basically have to like calm them down, battle them a few times, and effectively, you know, sort of turn them back to normal. So it's got kind of like a Monster Hunter vibe going for it. There's a massive Pokédex to complete and finish. Like each and every Pokemon has its own little method that you can capture it in, but they've also got like challenge lists up the ass, so you have to catch them like 25 times. You have to battle them like 30 times. You have to watch them do a special move 50 times. It's very grindy, but again, it's built for those people that frankly want to really complete a Pokédex. Like I could foresee you getting like 50, 60, 70, almost like 150 hours if you wanted to really complete this all the way through. But then again, there's always the request system, so there's like tons of side quests for you to do. And if you look at the way the game rewards you according to those side quests, it feels very much in the same vein as Monster Hunter, where like some side quests actually do better the actual Jubilife village that you're in. And at the same time, a lot of these quests also have little micro stories that you can complete and go forward with. So like there's definitely a sense of like scale that actually hasn't been seen as previous Pokemon games. But how much of the progression is really like tangible progression is something you're gonna have to find out later on. Again, I'm only like 20 hours into the game, and I feel like I've barely just scratched the rectum, okay? Like I haven't even goatsied this entire game yet. I'm like very much on my way to completing it, very much on my way to really biting my teeth into it. Now, that being said, though, there are Pokemon battles, like there are battles in the actual game against other trainers, but they're not like in the wild world, okay? Like the battles are very few and far between as far as I've seen. In fact, when it comes to PvP, I haven't really even seen that either in the game. There is a way for you to trade like between other players, and there are like little like metagame things you can do, like, hey, if somebody died in the field, go grab their pack and bring it back. However, difficulty-wise, I haven't even seen this game be that difficult. I've seen people say this is like the harder version of like Pokemon games. Dare I say the Dark Souls of Pokemon titles? Guys, let me give you a difficulty scale, okay? if this is Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is like so easy that a fucking fetus could beat it, versus Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is so hard, okay, that you can be fucked in the asshole by it, alright, even on like a quarter chub. This game is probably somewhere just past Sword and Shield. It's not difficult. Like, it obviously has a bit of a challenge to it. Like, there were moments in the game where I'm like, oh damn, I'm actually getting a little challenged right now, dare I say. I'm actually having to think about what move I want to use. Yeah, you get that, okay? The game's not entirely easy. But it's not even close to difficult. It's one of those games where I feel like anybody that like has any actual like, you know, conscience going on right now can probably beat the game all the way through. I'm sure this gets way hard when you get to like legendary Pokemon later on, and I honestly hope that it does. I hope that this is just like a difficulty curve that I've yet to actually reach a hit at. But that said though, Pokemon Legends Arceus is like a very good step in a direction for a franchise that frankly hasn't all the way been there. Look, I haven't given a crap about Pokemon since Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And this is the first time in a long time, you know, and I mean such a long time, that the last time I gave about this franchise was during the DS era, okay? With that said, though, I definitely feel that Game Freak should not be behind the Pokemon franchise because, like, this definitely needs a new coat of paint onto it. Like, we need some new developers that can put some actual talent behind it. Because let me tell you, the Nintendo Switch is not a weak system. You can run Dying Light on this thing relatively well. Honestly, Pokemon developers need to get like a fresh new perspective and like actually provide us with a proper current generation Pokemon title that looks good, plays well, and is worth the actual like presentation that you pay for. This is a $60 game. This is a $70 game Canadian. It should look like a $70 game. It should look like a proper first party title. As of now, this looks like a PlayStation 2 game. Frankly, the only thing that's keeping it going is the gameplay loop, which I actually enjoy so far. That said, though, I'm sure my opinion is subject to change, maybe. I'm sure maybe at hour 60, if the game is... Maybe it hits a wall, maybe something happens, but for now, this is a Pokemon game that I think is well worth the $60 price tag to jump in. That being said, $70 price tag. That being said, though, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.